You're not gonna believe this. My no-good brother-in-law wants to move to Lion's Arch.
How's he supposed to get there across a battlefield full of centaurs? And why would he risk his life like that?
His wife deserves better. Lion's Arch used to be a respectable place. Now they've gone rogue, independent. They must think they're too good for the Queen, I guess.
Maybe your brother-in-law's planning on becoming a pirate.
Yeah, right. When I'm done with him, he's gonna wash up on shore.
Why do you think they hate us?
Do they need a reason? They're centaurs.
They must have a reason. They're not animals.
Aren't they?
Well, welcome back to part 4. In the last episode, we had basically begun our adventure of the main campaign, where we've realized bandits are getting kind of out of control around Kryta. They've been attacking and raiding places even within Divinity's reach. They stole several and kidnapped several of our noble friends from our party, and we went to save them. So we're currently trying to figure out what's going on and what their political motivations might be. Everything's a little bit thin on the ground and hazy right now, but we did find a sheet of paper they had, which we know was created by a man at this trading post, a man named Sin Furserai. So we want to ask him about who sort of commissioned it, who might be pulling the strings of the bandits, and well, there's where we are in the story. So just before we get in, I've got my coffee here. It's just nice and fresh for the morning for me in the real world. I want to show you guys some other stuff about the game. You'll notice we look slightly different right now. That's because I went through our inventory and I equipped all of the newest armor that we've had that dropped, which just meant we swapped one of these. We no longer look red, but I wanted to show you a little bit of sort of the Fashion Wars 2 side of the game. So there's still some gear we don't have. We don't have a shoulder piece, we don't have a back piece, so there are certain things we can't affect with the way we look. But if you see here, we've got an equipment screen that shows all the stuff we can equip, but there's also something called the wardrobe screen. And what this does is it allows you to take any item that might be in your inventory and change how it looks. Its stats will stay the same, but you can change how it looks to any unlocked skin you might have on your account. And because I play a lot of this game, I have tons of skins. You see all of these? These are all different skins that I have available. Now, I'm not going to use any of the ones that we wouldn't properly have available at this point in the game, but I do want to, throughout the series, change the way we look quite frequently, because there's so many cool different skins and things available. So I'll pick another fairly early game setup for us to wear, but it should be quite fun. So let's go with the Kabbalist stuff, okay? So, Kabbalist coat. Let's go with the Kabbalist hood. Let's pick ourselves up the Kabbalist gloves, the Kabbalist legs, and Kabbalist boots, and maybe one day we'll get some shoulders and we can do that as well. So this is kind of a necromancy even look. Really, it's got a skull on it, as you can see there, a bit scary. But yeah, so just a different set for us. And then below wardrobe, you've got even dyes as well. So then this is all just dyed grey right now. We can put it to like a default setup, which is what this is, or we can, you know, select any kind of dyes that I might have unlocked on my account to, you know, dye it a certain color and make ourselves look like an elementalist again. This is, generally speaking, what a lot of people do in this game for long periods of time. I'm terrible at it because I don't really care that much about this side of the game, so we'll just make ourselves look like a flaming pumpkin for a little while, and this will be how we look. God, when I was imagining how I was going to open this video, I did not think this is what I'd come out with. Yeah, we'll play a bit of Fashion Wars 2 there. There is, I'll note as well, one final thing you can do, and these are outfits. And they can change your appearance in some extremely dramatic ways, as you can see here. I'm not going to use any outfits on this series, as cool as a lot of them look, just because, I don't know, it's gem store related. I think we can do things in a more fun way. So I'm not going to do outfits, but yeah, that's what one of these other panels is. I just wanted to show you what it is. So that's equipment, that's wardrobe, that's dyes, that's outfits, and we'll talk about more of the other stuff, I guess, a little bit later. But yeah, so there we go. We're sort of an evil-looking Ellie now that looks a bit like a necromancer. And lastly, last episode we did get this staff, didn't we? So all these skills, watch what happens when I equip the staff. They all change. All the air ones change. All the water ones change. All the fire ones change. Now, our utilities, these have got nothing to do with our weapons, so that's fine. We just picked it. We could pick any utility we want. We could pick any of these. That doesn't matter. But all these ones did. So we've got a whole new set to look at. Should be pretty fun. Let's go speak to Sin now and start our mission as the sun was setting, apparently, while we did all of that. So let's head on in. This is also a heart. You can fight rats and things there. You can shuffle paperwork to help the people at the trading post out. But come on, let's be honest. I can't really be bothered with that. So yeah, I hope you guys are all having a good day. I got myself a bitter shandy here and a cup of coffee. So that should keep me going through It's nice early morning.
We had a deal, you thick-headed sap.
You said centaurs. You didn't mention cannibals. Double the pay or we're leaving.
Double? How am I supposed to make a profit when you charge so much? Forget it.
I don't see that you have much of a choice, little man.
Money-grubbing Norn. You'd spend it all on ale anyway. How in Melandru's name am I supposed to get these supplies back to the city?
Jesus. So, there's a huge Norn here. Again, this is a different race. These are enormous people. So you can see how large he is compared to, say, this other mercenary here. His name is Otar Stumpfkopf, and he's storming off from Sin. We were warned by Farron that Sin, and Logan, I think, they both said that Sin was a bit of an abrasive man. So, hey Sin, how's it going? What on earth was going on there?
Hello.
Hello to you too.
You there. You look like you can handle yourself in a fight. I need to get to the garrison, and my oafish guards just turned coward. What do you cost?
Cost? I'm not a mercenary. I'm here to ask for help identifying the craftsmanship of a piece of handmade paper.
If you found quality paper in Divinity's Reach, I can assure you, I made it. Reams of paper are like snowflakes. I know my pages as well as most people know their children.
Can you tell me who bought a particular piece of paper? I'm investigating the matter for the Seraph.
Yes, I could. But why should I? I'm a resident of Lion's Arch. Your queen's got no authority over me. And my clients expect discretion.
Please, it's very important. Can you make an exception?
I'll make you a deal. The road to Shaymore is dangerous these days. Protect me until I reach the garrison, and I'll tell you what you want to know.
Let's get started. I need this information as soon as possible.
All right, so a simple trader services.
I've got to get away from these unclean masses. That armor merchant smells like a seasick crate.
Wow, so we heard of quite a few things here. So Sin is a human, and he's in human territory, but he's not actually from any Crichton-held location, really. He's from a place called Lion's Arch, which is actually a pirate haven.
Protect me!
It's a pirate haven on the south coast. And so it will be a while before we go to Lion's Arch, but it's an extremely important area of the game. So yeah, that's where he's from. So yeah, we got all these new skills. So what have we got? We're on a staff now, so we can be a ranged caster, right? Because we're not using a dagger. So our fire auto attack are these fireballs now, which hit people, do lots of damage, and they do AoE damage as well. So we get the fireball. Cast a fireball that explodes on impact and hits multiple foes. Then we also get a lava font. Make lava erupt from the target area. So you see this Drake? We can cast lava under him. And it erupts under the Drake and does lots of damage, and we've killed him with that. And we did that from really far away while he was attacking these guys defending the trading post. So that's really nice. So another wave comes into attack. There are these little spiders. Our skill 3 is Flame Burst. So we can explode burning on the spiders in the area. And we can auto them, and we can drop the lava font so we can keep that going. The skill 4 is Burning Retreat. Quickly roll backwards, leaving behind a line of fire that burns foes. So this is like an extra dodge roll for us, guys. We can dodge, and then Burning Retreat. So we can chain like loads of invulnerability. And we drop a flame wall with it. And the skill 5 is a really cool skill. Guild Wars 1 players will recognize it. Guild Wars 2 players understand it very well. It's called Meteor Shower. Cool down a meteor shower onto the target area. So, the skills are always organized, by the way, that the weaker or less impactful ones are on the left, and they get longer cooldown. So here, we got all these centaurs. We'll drop this huge AoE. Look at this. Look at all these strikes that we're getting out here. And we're killing all of them, really, except this guy who's a little bit off on the side. So you get all these meters come down, and while those are landing, we can have lava fonts. So he's just charged out of it really smartly. But yeah, so being on the staff's really cool. So we can, because we use combat mode as well, we can fire the fireballs wherever we like. Like, wherever we're looking, they'll always follow the crosshair. So again, it's not necessarily like, oh, you have to target, you have to officially target a creature. You can do it this way. You can, look around at where you're aiming at. So that's really cool. This is fire, right? This is fire on the staff. And we've got other achievements too. So I'll just kill these really quickly this time. Before we go into a whole explanation of how water is. I won't, overload the information. Oh, we got a summon as well, remember? So here's our fire ally. It's a lesser fire elemental. So he can fight with us. We got so much stronger between these last two instances.
We'll live on.
Will you live on? It looks like you're pretty much dead to me there, buddy. Looks like you're pretty much dead. We can move along here. And Sin's got his pack ball here, which is a little bit weak. If these guys go down, we can actually res them. Everyone in Guild Wars can always... You don't need to be a monk to res people. You don't need special skills to res people. You can use spells to res people. But in general, anyone can res anyone just by interacting with their bodies by pressing the F key. So that's good. All right, we're back at the garrison where this all started.
The centaurs have erected catapults! Secure the gates!
You can't make me stay out here. The centaurs will eat me.
Our orders are to seal the gates until those catapults have been destroyed.
Why are you wasting time? Destroy those catapults.
What? Me alone? Really? Seriously? You're not even going to help me, people?
The Seraph won't open the gates while those catapults are pounding away. Do what you
I guess I'm just a mercenary to him, right? Great. Lovely. Okay. So, yeah, we got these catapults. This is the same field that we fought the giant earth elemental at the start of the game in. Once again, we find ourselves defending the same garrison. So here, I'll show you what Meteor Shower looks like against this, right? We can cast it from all the way back here. Look at all the damage we do to the catapult. We can destroy it really quickly. Super badass, right? So let's try water attunement. So first we get our autos. We can splash water, again at massive range. The thing is, these don't do much damage, but they heal really massively. So when he strikes us... Every time this splashes down, we heal. So water is really good healing, right? You can see I'm healing my allies here. We also get a skill 3, which is another healing field. So this creates this geyser. This can resurrect people if we trait it. It can do all kinds of things. And the skill 5 is more healing. So this is a giant rain cloud we summon. You can see in the sky here. And this puts regeneration on people, healing them. It cleanses them. So lots of healing. There is a little bit of damage on here, though. So we get an ice spike. So we can drop a big ice spike in the sky that comes down. It puts vulnerability on, so everybody starts doing more damage. So if you want to be a really supporty kind of character, a water, Staff Ellies, you know, flavor-wise, a reasonable way to go. So you get that. And then last but not least, there is the Frozen Ground. Coat the target area in ice, chilling foes that enter it. So we can drop like a huge chilling ground and just stack tons of chill. Look at how slowly he moves now. Look at how slowly this centaur runs around. Look at that. It's completely different to before. So you can use that to lock people down and then score cool kills. The other nice thing is, do you remember I told you in the previous episode about blasts? Ice Spike is a blast too. So I can drop a water field and then an ice spike, and when the ice spike lands in the field, it explodes healing around. Do you remember how we exploded might around before? That explodes healing around. Or I can drop the ice field and an ice spike in an ice field will put Frost Aura on us, which reduces the damage we take by another 10%, and you can stack on top of other things. Or we can drop an Ice Spike and then go to Fire and put a Fire Field under it and give ourselves the Might again. So look at all these combos you can do. It's really ridiculous. So we'll take out another catapult here. Enough talk about staff. Might have been better to just stay on dagger focus for a while, right? So that we actually get through these instances a bit quicker. Let's summon our ally again here. Let's summon a water one. Oh no, we got the fire one, unfortunately. So we go, we take him out. And lastly, we've got air attunement. So in air, you get chain lightning. So air's lots of damage as well, by the way. So this will bounce between enemies. It bounces between them. You get lightning surge, which I think was an elite skill in the original game. You charge up and then you blind them in an AoE with this. You get Gust, which you can use to blow people away. You get Windborne Speed, which we can use to give ourselves swiftness. So we can use both the Glyph now and Windborne Speed to move for lots of swiftness. And then lastly, there's a static field here, which is a ring that they can't cross and it does damage to them. And we can blast in it for even more swiftness. So there you go, those are the staff abilities. And we will use them to devastating effect to take out all these centaurs and these catapults. You would have noticed, hopefully by now, that the game is really... It used to be tuned that these were real challenges and difficult, but the devs have got no intention, it seems, to actually tune much of this to be a challenge, which I think is a real shame because there's all this interesting stuff about the skill system that players could and should be learning about right now and using to their advantage, but because there's no reason to, I think a lot of people who try Guild Wars 2 don't get the maximum value out of their enjoyment because the game just lets you sort of roll your face across the keyboard for a lot of this early stuff, and I think that's a shame. These are the important moments where people should be getting pushed and learning new things, but hey. So there we go, they're all defeated. Hurrah! Difficult job, right guys? How's it going, Sin?
May the Six watch.
Very well. I held up my end of the bargain. You're safe. Now tell me who bought this paper.
safe. Barely. I feel like I was run over by a herd of marauding Dolyaks. That paper was made of pulp from the Seberine tree. It's one of a kind. I sold it to Minister Zaman. He has exceptional taste.
Thank you. That's all I needed to know. You might be called as a witness if Zaman is brought to trial, so don't leave Divinity's reach.
How very quaint. If the Ministry sends a formal summons, I'll come. At least they'll use decent parchment on the subpoena.
So, there we go. We may have the name of our man that might be manipulating the bandits, Zaman. There we have it. Does Sin say anything else? And yeah, he's going to stick around just in case there's going to be a big trial. And that's sort of what the nobility story really ends up becoming about. And so there we go. That's the instance done. Our next quest is to do the informant, to report to Minister Zamon's bandit involvement with Captain Thackeray. So by the way, if we go back to the hero panel again, we've got the story journal. You'll notice now that we've been doing things, it's been filling in like a journal, like we've actually been, writing into it. So I do want to read this out on the series. So very quickly to recap. Centaurs attacked Shaymore today. I did my best to help defend the village. I met up with Captain Thackeray at the garrison, and together we were able to defeat the Centaurs and their summoned Earth Elemental. That was on day 1. Then we returned home to a celebration in our honor. However, bandits crashed the party. They captured my friend Farron. I caught up and rescued Farron before they could take him out of the city. Farron said he'd heard the bandits talking about a hideout beneath an abandoned farm in Shaymore. So we went to the farm. When Farron and I went to the hideout, we had the advantage of surprise. We found prisoners locked in cages and freed them. One of the prisoners had managed to steal important papers from a bandit, including a missive ordering future attacks on the city. And Captain Thackeray should know about this, which we told him. And so now we're on this next thing where we're just going to go back to Logan and point out this name that we've got. And that's it, his office in Divinity's Reach. So let's return up to the observatory. God, last time on the series we were here, it was nighttime. And I think it's nighttime again now, unfortunately. So you still aren't going to get to see this in all of its daytime glory. But hopefully at some point, guys. Hopefully. So yeah, let's head on through this door. This is the Seraph headquarters. And we're going to continue our story about the informant here. Get some nice concept art of the sea. We level up as we walk through as well. That's very cool. Because we get this as a point of interest. Very dark and grim and foreboding in here at night. But let's see what everyone has to say. So these guys are just walking in. Will they talk to one another when they get to the desk? I don't know. We're going to have a conversation first.
I've been hoping to see you again. Do you have any news? What did the papermaker say?
Furserai admitted he made the paper for Minister Zaman. He also agreed to testify to that effect.
I knew Zaman was shady, but organized crime? Setting up citizens to be robbed and brutalized? That's out-and-out treason. Nevertheless, he's a government official. I can't call him to trial without more evidence. Oh, where are my manners? Allow me to introduce Countess Anise, Master Exemplar of the Shining Blade.
Minister Wee's hosting a party tonight. It'll be a good opportunity to eavesdrop on ministers, their allies, and their enemies.
Or we could search Zaman's house. The law allows it if someone's in danger, or if we suspect treason. All right. We have one shot, so it's either the party or Zaman's house. I can't give you orders, so let me know how you want to proceed.
Okay, so quite a lot happened. I'm just going to tell him, let me think this over for now. So quite a lot happened there. First of all, we still don't even know much about Logan himself, really. Let's be honest, we don't. But he just mentioned the Shining Blade. So there are 3 factions in the city, really. You have the Seraph. You have the Ministry Guard that I talked about before, who sort of cater to the elite and the wealthy. And finally, there's the Shining Blade. They're an organization you may recognize if you played the original game. As it stands here in Guild Wars 2, which is set 250 years after the original, the Shining Blade are really mostly there to defend the Queen and the Queen's interests at the highest levels, purely to do with the Queen. And their leader, the leader of this kind of fairly sneaky, subterfuge-laden organization, their leader is this woman here, Countess Anise. So we're actually next to 2 extremely important characters right now. And Anise does speak to us. She says, personally, I prefer convivial face-to-face situations. Then again, cloak and dagger skullduggery is also fun. So it's up to you, party or pilfer? We say, well, the way you describe it also sounds so charming. I'll have to think it over. So we get a decision in the story now. Not all the decisions we make at the biography. Many of them come organically as the story progresses. So what's it going to be? We get to choose. Do we want to go to a party with one of the other ministers, and see what we can figure out just through conversation? Or do we want to go to someone's house and try and figure out some of the evidence there? So, this is actually really difficult for me to decide on because there's so much cool stuff you can get from the party instance, and there's so much cool stuff you can get from the house instance. I think I'm going to go with the house. So, we bet we'll find evidence there. Are you sure? You can't attend the party if you break into his place. Or do we want to do the party? Do we want to do the party? Okay, let's do the party. Let's do the party. I'm changing my mind. Let's do the party. Let's see what we learn. Yes, I'm sure. Okay, the party.
Your fellow nobles seem to have a knack for making my life interesting. Let's see if we can.
Alright, I hope I made the right choice here. I hope I made the right one. I'd love to be able to, like, do everything, but, you know, it would just get so long. So, yeah, let's pick up a new coat here. A linen garment.
Finished with that.
Which is going to change the way we look a little bit away from our horrendous outfit before. And we now look totally mismatched. That's brilliant. So, Logan, what do you think of my choice? He says it's a plan. You and Anise hit the party. I'll go to the house alone, and then we'll reconvene later. So we're going to be hanging out with her.
My sweet. Right now, we both have important preparations to make.
She says Minister Wee's gala is the perfect place to investigate his shadier side. I'll meet you there, of course. It wouldn't do to make us share the spotlight during our entrance. So we kind of get to interact with one of these characters a little bit more. But I guess we'll meet with a new one more than anything else. Countess Anise here. So there you have it. Let's head on out. And let's see what we got on that level up as well. So, what do we have here? We just reached level 12.
Dark times call for sacrifice.
The game teaches us about upgrading items, which I already taught you guys about. Salvaging. So they say some items you find will be salvageable. You can use a salvage kit to break them down into crafting materials. And then it teaches us that the crafting materials can be used to make other stuff. So we get some upgrades, and here we get this thing, a crude salvage kit. So let's have a little bit of a look at this. People who play the original game may remember salvage kits. You may also remember identification kits. Identifying doesn't really exist in Guild Wars 2 the way it did in the original game. There is such thing as unidentified gear, but that's more to do with the expansions later, so we don't have to worry. For now, all we have to look at is salvaging. So, if I double-click this salvage kit, it will black out or red out a lot of stuff we can't salvage. But if you see, like, this bow here, this bow we can't equip because we're not a ranger or anything, so why don't we salvage it with the crude kit? And look, we turned the bow into a greenwood log. We managed to salvage a log out of it. If we do the same with this chain coat that we can't wear, look, we get copper ore. If we do it with the mace, we get other materials. So you can do this manually one by one. You can also right-click a salvage kit and just tell it to automatically salvage everything down that you don't care about. So all the fine rarity gear and lower will just instant salvage down there. So voila. And then you can hit deposit all materials, and we've just cleared out all of our stuff and put it all in our bank, which is really nice. You'll notice these weird items as well that just came into my inventory. So as you salvage, you can get essences of luck, and by double clicking these, you apply luck to your account, and the luck gives you higher chance for better drops later. So you notice here I have the luck basically becomes magic find, and I have 320% magic find right now, which is pretty good. Magic find isn't the most important thing in the game. Honestly, a lot of these systems I don't really like too much. But they have it. So that's some stuff, and that's salvaging, which we'll be doing a lot throughout our adventures here. So there you have it. Yeah, I think that's about everything that we wanted to show off. And we're going to go do a society function. Gather information about Minister Zamon at the party. So now that that old one's done, if you check it out, the informant. Sin Fursari was hard to deal with, but he finally admitted who bought the unusual stationery. It was Minister Julius Zamon. I reported this to Thackeray, and he's eager to find hard evidence so that we can convict Zamon of treason. Logan asked me to assist in the investigation, and I had to decide between choosing his home or questioning people who knew him. We don't have time to do both. So we're going to question people who knew him. We need to go to this this party. So the party's in... so this town is split into various districts. The home district is just one. That's the only one you've seen so far. There's also the Ossen Quarter, which is predominantly inhabited by people from very far south. The kind of people who live all the way down here. Some of them, many years ago, sort of came and settled down up in the city before contact was lost between the northern and the southern realms. And they sort of all live there. There are people, humans that live in Rurikton. These are from, once upon a time, the humans in Guild Wars 2 only live in this region of the world, really. But once upon a time, there were many great human kingdoms. There was one here at this place, the Ruins of Ur. There was another great human kingdom over here at Ascalon. And the people who lived in Ascalon also settled in this city as well after they lost control. So they tend to live in Rurikton, and it happens to be in Rurikton that we're going to have this party. And the minister who's hosting the party is sort of the Rurikton minister, a man of Ascalon. A guy called Wee, and he's a really nice guy. He's genuinely straight up legit good. Nice character. So yeah, we're going to walk through. This is the entrance to Rurikton. We'll move through the twin statues there. And in the background there, you'll see that there's a crazy-looking purple device. That's an Asura gate. That will teleport us to another area of the world. That will actually teleport us far away to Ascalon itself, to one of the last human strongholds in Ascalon, a place called Ebonhawk. That's story for later, though, so we don't have to worry about it too much. If you guys are actually playing the game, if you click the free-to-play link or whatever, there's a tour guide, some NPCs that run through here, and they have like really cool and interesting conversations about Rurikton and exactly the kind of people that live here that I recommend you guys check out. They don't seem to be running as I get here now, though. So yeah, do we want to continue our story? A society function? Hell yeah, we do.
This will be delightful. Having the hero of Shamor on my arm will make tongues wag.
Thank you for letting me join you this evening, Countess.
I'm always willing to do what I can for Queen and country. That being said, let me offer you some unsolicited advice. First, mingle. Speak to everyone. You never know who'll say something they'll regret later. Second, don't limit your conversations to nobility. Servants and guards see everything.
Understood. I suppose it goes without saying that I should be discreet.
You catch on fast. Go on and charm the masses. You know where to find me if you need me, pet.
So, like she said there, she cares about Queen. You know, she's the leader of the Shining Blade. That's the kind of common thing you'd hear. So we get Ministry Guard defending here.
May the Six watch.
And again, the Ministry Guard interact with ministers a lot. So these guys might have dirt on Zamon. So this person says, welcome, is there something I can do? More guards than usual tonight, we observe. Is everything secure? Absolutely. Outside of Her Majesty's palace, there's no place more secure in all of Divinity's Reach. So why all the security? If you've been talking to that paranoid naysayer Reth, ignore him. This is normal ministry security detail for an event of this side. Huh, well, we don't know anything about a Reth guy. Maybe we should try and find him, see what's going on there. We will say out loud, though, I see. Where can I find some refreshments? The drink table over yonder. The good minister has broken out his very best beverages for this gala. I've heard rumors of bandit attacks. Is it actually safe here? Absolutely, blah, blah, blah. Okay, alright, fine. Same conversation with this woman, perhaps? Yes, it is. They seem to do that a lot in the early quests.
You shouldn't leave so fast. You're going to get sick.
Mind your own business.
So lots of people partying and talking, and we'll just be a bit of a wallflower. We'll just listen. We'll see what we figure out.
Do you know Minister Wee well?
Oh, yes. My son attends school with his youngest. Have you heard the one about the Queen, the Minister, and the Beggar?
Goodness, look at the time.
He just wants to leave. Not interested in the jokes. I want to know what the punchline to that joke is, though. Okay, so who we got? Baron Edmonds?
What can I do?
Hello. Here's hoping this party ends better than yours did, eh? Wow, great. Oh, was he at our party, was he? Although, with all the guards, any hooligan foolish enough to show would become a pincushion right quick. Ha-ha! Hardly an appropriate sentiment for such a grand occasion, wouldn't you say, Baron? Forgive my boorishness, but you must admit Minister Wee has thought of everything. The man has tremendous talent for throwing the most delightful galas. True, but there are a lot of guards. I suppose so. Perhaps Minister Wee heard about your trouble and was determined to avoid a similar episode. Still, this much security is peculiar. And we say, I agree. This bears looking into, please excuse me. Interesting, okay. And now he doesn't want to talk to us. Here's Lady Wee. So this is the wife of the man who's hosting this at his mansion here. She, again, remember her. There's so much I want you guys to remember. Remember her, okay, Lady Wee. So she's just an unassuming civilian for now. She says, the hero of Shamor in the flesh. I knew you were destined for greatness. What's next, a position in the ministry? Well, my interests lie more outside of Divinity's Reach than within, my lady. Ah, to be sure, we have holdings near Claypool, such a charming little hamlet. I love to see the peasants working so hard in the vineyards, and such glorious wine. I didn't mean Never mind. You throw a lovely party, my lady. Good day. Alright, so she doesn't have much to say. Anise just came to mingle. What have you found out, Anise? Do you want to speak to us?
Greetings.
I hope it's everything you expected. Just be careful of whom you trust. There are more masks here than at a carnival, and the ones we nobles wear are far less obvious. Okay, well then tell me about them. I know Lord Farron, obviously, but I want to hear what you know. A rascal and an incorrigible flirt, but a good man. Spent several years in the ministry, but stepped down due to personal reasons. There's more to that story, but that's all I'll say for now. Wow, that's really exciting to think about. There are theories that Farron is another prominent character in the story at the moment in the community, and little things like this feel like hints almost to that. What can you tell me about Lady Madeline? She never married. More's the pity, stays home to care for her ill mother. She's lonely, but she takes solace from being a dutiful daughter. Okay, what about Lord Benjamin? A likeable fellow, but don't trust him with secrets. He's a gossip monger, and you'll never know which master currently holds his leash. What about Nicholas Winters? Ah, Nicholas. He's like his father, lucky to be wealthy. If he weren't so rich, his laziness would have been the death of him. Okay. Alright, so don't really know any of those characters. We don't really glean anything from that, to be honest, do we? Here's Minister Wee himself, Ascalonian extraordinaire. A pleasure to see you at my humble party. A great pleasure. Your name has been on everyone's lips lately. Your presence honors me. You're far too kind, Minister. I merely did my duty as a citizen. If all citizens of this fair city had your bravery, think how much grander Divinity's reach would be. Nevertheless, you give all her people pride as a glorious example of high birth. Thanks for your praise, Minister. Now, if you excuse me, I have some mingling to do.
May the Six watch.
So he doesn't say too much else to us? Well, we're not really getting any dirt, are we? Here's Yolanda again. Hey, lady, you wanted to get close before, right? What a lovely party. Well, what a delight to see you. I thought you'd be out doing gallant deeds with our own dashing Captain Thackeray. Not at the moment, I'm afraid.
May I offer?
Then I have you all to myself this time. Lucky me, indeed. Excuse me, I have to do something else, something important. Farewell. Why is my character not into her? What is wrong with this lady? What, because she just comes on a bit strong, I guess? Alright. No time for some, like, fading to black here.
Shh. She'll hear you. It is. They finally let her out.
Would you care for an appetizer?
Who? They let who out? What are we talking about? Farron? There's my heroic friend. Say, could you hold off on the act of valor for a bit? It makes it hard to strike up conversation with a pretty lass when she only wants to talk about you. I'd never knowingly stand in the way of your conquests. Ah, burn me, as the Char say. So the Char are one of the other races. They've been at war with the humans for an incredible amount of time, and only recently rinklings of a truce and a ceasefire seem to be rippling through the world. And yeah, so we haven't met any Char yet in the story, but trust me, they are bestial, scary creatures. And they are on the other side of the world right now. We do not have to worry. Do you remember those Ascalonians I told you about? It was the Char that took Ascalon from those humans. He says, I have some interesting information for you, but I need a small favour first, please. Really? You must be joking. I've been dying to speak with Jasmina all night, but she keeps talking about you and won't believe that we're friends. Can you believe that? Would you put in a good word for me? Alright, anything for an old friend. I'll charm her silly with lies about you. Alright, so where is she? Wait, that's Yolanda. It's Jasmina that he wants. Okay, so hello Jasmina out in the flower garden. Hello. Oh, I'm so pleased to see you. I was telling Lady Madeline I don't know if you would make it, but here you are. I'm almost breathless. A friend spoke highly of you, and I just had to make your acquaintance. A friend? Oh, do you mean Lord Farron? I know he seems slicker than a Delavan eel, sorry, but he's got a good heart. No, here we go. Assuredly. Why, he's been my stalwart companion in all kinds of adventures. Truly? So he did bravely follow you into the bandit cave as he claims? Remarkable. Would you be so kind as to give him my regards? This is also formal and posh. Yeah, I'll do that, alright. No worries. No worries, love. You're right, mate. There you go. I saw it. Cormier, strike me if she didn't look impressed. You're a true friend. Okay, think nothing of it. What was it you wanted to tell me? Recall our escapade in the padded cave and your suspicion that a minister might be pulling their strings? You're in luck, because I've confirmed said suspicions. Wow, how did you manage that? I believe it's Minister Zamon. I was out with a lady friend, and I saw him leaving the woods near Gibson Portage, alone, and most suspiciously. Those woods are infested with ruffians and criminals. You're certain that he was alone there? Certain enough to testify, he was dressed for a dinner party and sauntering through the woods like he was at a ball. Might that help your investigation? It definitely does, Farron. Thanks. I'll find you later. So cool, if you look on the top right, what we're aiming for is to find evidence from the party, and we just got some from Farron himself, so he's really pulling through there, and he's been a pretty decent guy. So we could talk more to people out here, but I think that that's all tied to the first bit of evidence, so we're alright with that. Hey, it's a cook.
Hello there.
No time to talk, I have a whole banquet to do. Make it snappy or get out of my kitchen. Wow, you seem like you're the man to ask about local gossip. You got it. Yolanda is on the hunt, and anything wearing breeches is fair game. It's a wonder Lord Farron hasn't got himself in trouble there. Anything else? Well, I don't trust ministry guards. This place is full to the gills with them. Don't know why, but if you're interested, try asking one what they're doing here. Well, we already did that, and we got sort of rebuffed. But we did hear about a guy called Reth, right? You can't think of anything else? Nope. If you want more, then ask the household servants. They hear more than I do, because I'm stuck in here all the time. Okay, so we've got 2 potential leads. Maybe speaking to Reth, and maybe speaking to some servants. So,
greeting.
Welcome, honoured guest. What may I do for you? Have you heard anything interesting? Someone mentioned something about Lady Madeline, but I can't remember it precisely. Curse this addled brain of mine. Ask the cook. No, the cook told us to ask you.
May I?
All right, so maybe we'll just try and find Madeline. Maybe she's upstairs. I don't think we've seen her downstairs yet, have we? So let's move on up.
Come now, Lady Madeline. Everyone knows you're an expert in the intricate workings of your brother's mind.
Not of late, I fear. Between his duties as minister and my own duties tending to Mother, I fear we've grown distant lately.
My condolences, good lady. I meant no offense. How is your noble mother?
Somewhat improved, but she remains in poor health. I beg your pardon, my lord. May we speak of happier matters?
That conversation sounds so stilted, and I don't know whether it's because it's bad VA or it's meant to just sound like, you know, painstaking, tooth-pulling small talk that they don't want to be involved in. But okay, so this is the sweet lady that feels lonely, but she's having to look after her poor mother. Oh, hello, I don't believe I've had the pleasure. I'm Lady Madeline Zamon. Okay. I believe you were at Farron's party, were you not? Yes, I was. It was a delightful gala. Before the bandits, of course. I do not get a chance to attend many events like that. All this, come to think of it. It's a little overwhelming for me. Why, are you new to the city? Not specifically. My brother Julius and I were born here, but I've moved to the countryside to aid my mother. Do you know the Zamon estate? So this is Lady Madeline Zamon, guys. This is the sister of the guy we're trying to accuse. Minister Julius Zamon is your brother? You must be proud of him? Yes, but I wish that... forgive me. I shan't burden you with my worries. Our mother is in poor health and I'm concerned for her. So, we've got 2 things. It sounds as if your relationship is strained. Or we can go for this option. Now, that fist means that this is a ferocious option. Remember at character creation we had 3 that we could pick. So, we want to be cautious of this. We might upset her. I'm sorry to tell you this, but I have reason to believe your brother's a traitor. We could just immediately come out of the gate. I'm going to say, it sounds like your relationship is strained. Did that cretinous cook tell you that? It's sheer gossip, nothing more. I'm sorry. Please ignore that outburst. I fear I need a moment to collect my thoughts. I apologize, lady. I'll talk to you later. Interesting. So, she doesn't really want to speak to us anymore. Oh, here you go. Most excellent to meet you. I presume you are his sister. Why, yes, he and I were born here. He must be proud of his accomplishments. Shall we go for the traitor thing? Yeah. A traitor? That can't be... He wouldn't. No. I'd like to believe he wouldn't, but... I beg you, lady, tell me what you know. Lives could be at stake. Lives? What about my mother's life? What if she found out her son was a traitor? What then? We must consider the greater good, my lady. Gods, I knew it would come to this. He was visiting Mother when a strange man came by. Julius gave him some papers, but he wouldn't say what they were, even when I asked. Do go on. It got worse. Julius left more packages at our mother's house for suspicious characters to pick up. I came here to confront him, but he refused to discuss it and just stormed off. Would you be willing to testify on this matter at a trial? A trial? Oh, Julius, what have you done? May call me a guide and Dwayne protect me. Yes, I will testify. I cannot allow Julius to dishonor the family or disrupt Mother any further. Thank you, my lady. You're doing a great service to all of Divinity's Reach. Wow, so we came at her really hard. She doesn't sound like she has much of a story, though. Let's be real. She just saw him giving papers to a shady-looking guy. That's not enough on its own. But if she needs to testify, she'll help us.
Excuse me. Do you have a moment?
So we can come all the way upstairs here, and here is Reth, one of the ministry guards. So remember, as a ministry guard, he's kind of in the pockets of the nobles.
I'm thrilled to be invited to one of Master Wee's parties. It's so elegant.
I know. No one else has his refinement and wealth.
Yes, wealth helps. A lot.
Yeah, it is a pretty goddamn nice looking mansion, isn't it? It is a pretty nice place. I regret that the game doesn't have more reason to visit mansions and manors and things like this, because there's tons of them in the cities, but not too many of them are used in the stories. So anyway, here's Reth. Hello, Reth. What's going on, man? We've heard a lot about you. Good evening. How may I help you? Is it normal to have this many guards at a personal event? Straight to the point. I'm afraid it's not. I'm not certain why we're here precisely. This isn't standard procedure. It sounds like you have some suspicions. Perhaps, but it's risky for us to be seen talking. Also, I'm parched. It would look more natural if a kind noble simply offered a hard-working guard a drink. Well, okay, I can arrange that. All right, so he thinks it's suspicious we're talking. So if we nip downstairs now, we can find one of these refreshment tables.
My ship
They're all marked.
arrived. It was delayed in transit when those four-legged abominations captured the trading post.
You're lucky it wasn't ransacked.
So they were talking about centaur attacks, which is what most people are more likely to wag their tongues about. Let's get a drink for Reth. So we're now holding a drink. We're in like a combat stance as we do it, but we do have a glass of wine here that I'm sure won't spill, guys. It's a magical world, all right? It's got an enchantment on it that means it won't spill. Come on now, all right? It's fine. Don't you question this. So, hey, Reth, here's a drink. Ooh.
Here's your drink. To anyone watching, I'm just a kind-hearted noble, and you're just a grateful guard. Now speak your mind.
Burglaries and kidnappings are increasing, yet here we sit, idle. Lately, the guard is never where it's needed most.
That drink was meant to loosen your tongue, but you still sound like you know more than you're letting on.
I heard what you did in Shaymore, and I know you've got Thackeray's ear. What I'm telling you could get a man killed, so use it well. Our orders arrived just before the raids. It's as if someone is sending us away so bandits can swoop in unchallenged.
You think there's a deeper connection? Someone in the Ministry Guard working with the bandits directly?
Higher than that. The orders come from Minister Zaman himself. Look, I'm taking a big risk here, but those bandits are scum. Please do something with this information.
I will. Now, enjoy your drink. I've got someone I must speak with.
All right, so we've certainly got some disturbing information. We can put it that way, right?
For an appetizer?
No, I wouldn't like an appetizer. I know you're not offering it to me, but it would be nice. Okay, so yeah, we got our 3 out of 3. Let's go downstairs and see what's going on. And here you'll see a Norn. Ooh, hello. Is everyone all right? Looks like Thackeray's back. Don't forget, he's just been raiding the house.
Oh, look at the Countess, will you? Such a beauty. She has the entire room in the palm of her hand.
Did you know she's a history buff? Ancient Kryta is her subject of expertise.
Interesting, okay. So she knows a lot about Ancient Kryta. So here's a Norn, pretty big guy. Let's speak to him. Walk away, I'm on the clock and I have orders not to speak to anyone. Alright, Mr. Mercenary Man. I don't think that's the same guy we saw with Sin before. Maybe, but I don't think it is. Hey guys, what have we found out?
Fair weather we're having.
Team huddle.
You've been a busy little bee, haven't you? I presume you've gotten the information we need?
More than I had hoped. I've identified witnesses who will testify that Zaman had dealings with bandits.
How lucky. I'd love to throw Zaman in a cell, but politics have my hands tied. At least with this evidence, we'll be able to call him to trial.
Aha. Speak of the fiend, and he appears. Logan, it seems Minister Zaman has arrived. You're free to do your duty.
If it isn't Logan Thackeray. I'm sorry, Captain Thackeray. To what do I owe the honor?
As Captain of the Seraph in the service of Her Royal Majesty Queen Jenna, I call you to trial.
What? This is an outrage. I demand to know the charge.
Treason against the crown and citizens of Kryta. May Cormyr judge your words justly, and may Dwayna have mercy on you.
Oh my god. So it really feels like we're pretty flimsy here. So we get a choice of 2 staves. One has health on it, one has power. I'll just take the health one, I suppose. And yeah, so we're actually escorting them out. Unbelievable. So I guess we found what we wanted. We can speak to Anise here. She says, "My, we've certainly gone and kicked the hornet's nest here. The moment we're out of earshot, this place will be absolutely aflame with gossip." Like, they didn't even verify with me that I actually had good information. I might just be a moron that has no idea what he's talking about, which in all likelihood is the truth. So what happens now, we ask? Well, the trial. I imagine Minister Caudicus will bury this case very quickly. He loathes anything that makes the ministry look bad. So Caudicus is like a real bigwig minister, okay? A real bigwig minister. He's based not out of Divinity's Reach, but a nearby village, Beetleton. So, yeah, I feel bad for Lady Madeline. We cannot choose our relations, nor control what they do. I doubt it will be of any consolation to her, but she's doing the right thing by testifying. Yeah, so she's just had to look after her poor mother, and now she has to testify against her own brother. So what happens now? Well, the trial. Okay, so there you have it. That's the party, and they're all going to geek out and freak out. And this is all going to come to a head. We're going to have the trial pretty soon, so let's dip out now. And that will conclude the starting chapter, actually, which will leave many questions still unanswered, but one day they will be answered, believe me, guys. So, yes, meet Captain and the Countess at the Ministry for the trials of Julius Zamon. And if we read our story journal... Actually, I'll read that at the start of the next episode. So we'll leave it there. I'm going to make my character look a bit better, because this is obscene. So I will see you guys in a second for the next part and the conclusion of Chapter 1, Crichton Politics. I hope to see you there.